No!
Hello guys, welcome back to yet another marvelous video. Today, we're diving headfirst into the murky depths of the Amazonian rainforest to dissect one of horror's most iconic horror legends, the Gill-Man, aka the creature from the Black Lagoon. While he may not enjoy the same popularity as Frankenstein's monster or Dracula, he remains a significant figure among the most recognizable movie monsters of all time. We're going to leave no stone unturned, so strap on your scuba gear and hold your breath, because we're about to come face to face with a monster that was never meant to surface. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Who is the Gill-Man? What type of creature is he? The Gill-Man, also known as the Swamp Creature, is the main villain who was first introduced in the classic 1954 horror movie, The Creature from the Black Lagoon. He also appeared in its two sequels, Revenge of the Creature and The Creature Walks Among Us, both released in 1955 and 1956, respectively. But what is this Gill-Man exactly? He's the last of a group of amphibious humanoids. These creatures are often seen as a missing evolutionary link between fish and land animals. He lived during the Devonian period, a time when giant amphibians roamed the earth, and stayed in a lagoon deep in the unexplored Amazon rainforest. The Gill-Man managed to survive until the present day, or at least until the 1950s, according to the first movie. The only sign of his existence is known to those who used to live near his dwelling. This is one of the reasons why the creature is actually regarded as the living fossil. In the movies, the Gill-Man on land was portrayed by Ben Chapman in the first film, Tom Hennessy in the second, and Don McGowan in the third. Rico Browning played the Gill-Man underwater in all three films. What was the inspiration behind the movie? The whole concept for Creature from the Black Lagoon came after a dinner party in 1941 that producer William Allen went to. The party was for Citizen Kane at Orson Welles' place. There, a guest from South America named Gabriel Figueroa, who was a well-known photographer from Mexico, shared this wild story about a half-fish, half-human creature that would emerge from the Amazon once a year to kidnap a young woman from a village before vanishing again. He even mentioned a friend of his who went missing in the Amazon. While working on a documentary about some rumored fish people, Figueroa was adamant that this story was the real deal. The story hit a chord with Allen and inspired him to later write an outline draft with the title, The Sea Monster. He based it on story elements from King Kong. Screenwriters Harry Essex and Arthur R. Ross updated the drafts, and Jack Arnold, who had just directed the successful film, It Came from Outer Space, was chosen to direct. William Allen originally imagined the monster as a sad, yet beautiful monster that was scary, yet also very human. At first, the Gill-Man was designed to look like a sleek, feminine eel, without as many humps and gills as the final version. Does King Kong really have an influence? To write the draft, the creative team used some ideas from King Kong. The creature from the Black Lagoon can be seen as an aquatic version of King Kong. The Gill-Man is the only one of his kind and rules over his remote Amazonian habitat. When outsiders invade his territory, he seeks revenge, but also becomes attracted to the female member of the group. I think we've seen something along those lines before. In the first King Kong movie, only the last part takes place in a city where Kong escapes his captivity and causes havoc in New York City. In contrast, Revenge of the Creature turns this last part into an entire movie. A foreign creature causing chaos on its home ground is a separate interesting idea, but imagine what would happen if it came to our world. It will not only cause more destruction, but also increase the likelihood of violent encounters. The subsequent Gill-Man movies were created keeping that in mind. What is the controversy related to the designer of the Gill-Man? One of the most talked about things about the film has to be the creature's costume. For a 50-cent horror flick, it's a pretty impressive design that still looks great today, really capturing that half-man, half-amphibian vibe of the aquatic monster. But here's a twist. A woman named Millicent Patrick actually designed the monster, yet her name got buried for decades because her boss, Bud Westmore, took credit for it. On top of that, Millicent hit the road to promote the film with her designs, and her talent for selling herself and her work had a positive impact on the film's success. The debate about Millicent Patrick being the designer of the creature is still ongoing, even though there is clear evidence. After Bud Westmore died, Millicent publicly stated that she created the creature. Actor Ben Chapman, who wore the costume, and artist Chris Mueller, who sculpted the creature, also confirmed that Millicent made Gill-Man. Bud Westmore was known to remove his team members from the studio whenever a photographer was present, allowing him to take sole credit for their work. The recent knowledge about Patrick's role as the creator of the Gill-Man comes from Mallory O'Meara's biography, The Lady from the Black Lagoon. Beyond her contribution to horror, Patrick lived a rich life, being one of the first female animators at Disney Studios. But this book reassesses her legacy and gives her the recognition she deserves as a talented artist. What is the Gill-Man skin made of? The Gill-Man has scaly skin, similar to fish or reptiles. Her skin has thick, overlapped armor scales that provide protection. It's actually dark green with hints of gold or copper, helping him blend into muddy waters for camouflage. Scaly skin typically helps aquatic creatures reduce friction in water, but in the creature, these also seem adapted to protect it on land, possibly from the rugged forest floor and predators, which can harm them. His skin is semi-waterproof and can resist water loss, allowing him to stay hydrated on land without drying out quickly. The tough texture of his skin can withstand most regular weapons in the 1954 film. We say this because, when Gill-Man was shot with bullets, they thought he had died, but he appeared again, which could only mean that he recovered from the wounds pretty soon. Some have assumed that his scales are made of keratin, like most of the reptiles, and he has a mucus layer that helps him move in water and protects him from infections, similar to fish skin. How does the Gill-Man breathe both on land and underwater? Since the Gill-Man can live both in water and on land, he can breathe in both environments, much like the African lungfish, mudskipper, or salamander. This fish is found underwater mostly during mating season, but comes up for air when its lake dries up. Meanwhile, the Gill-Man has these cool functioning external gills that help him absorb oxygen from the water using special tissues, which really boosts how much oxygen he gets. The Gill-Man can only be out of the water for a few minutes. If he stays dry too long, he'll start to weaken, could pass out, and might even die. But how's he surviving on land? Well, you see, the Gill-Man has a lung-like structure that lets him breathe on land for short periods. However, this transition isn't easy for him. He breathes heavily and looks uncomfortable if he stays out of water for too long. The Gill-Man is kind of like a super advanced version of various amphibian species, mixing features from both amphibians and fish, which lets it move easily between water and land. Its unique traits make it a perfect fit for the Amazon, a super dense and dark environment, where having special skills is key to surviving. What do his gills look like, and where are they located? The Gill-Man has gills on the sides of his neck that look like rib slits. These gills move while he's underwater, helping him breathe like some deep-sea fish and amphibians. They're located on both sides of his neck and partly along his lower jaw. To understand simply, we can say that these gills work like fan-like structures underneath. They might have fine filaments that increase surface area for taking in oxygen. When the Gill-Man is on land, the gills close tightly to keep water in and prevent drying out. How tall and heavy is the Gill-Man? Approximately. According to production notes and actor measurements, Gill-Man is approximately 6 feet 5 inches tall, which is about 196 centimeters, and he weighs between 250 and 300 pounds, or 113 to 136 kilograms. It's important to note that his size may vary slightly between films, especially in sequels where different actors wear the suit. However, he's consistently portrayed as tall, broad-shouldered, and muscular, exuding a powerful presence. What kind of limbs does the creature have? Does he have claws or nails? Gill-Man has long, strong arms and legs with webbed fingers and toes, making him super fast in the water and pretty menacing on land. Those webbed hands and feet really give him an edge, letting him swim and move around quickly and easily. It can glide near the riverbed, sneaking around quietly, and the creature's sleek limbs and body show it's built for agility in the water, helping it surprise its prey with ease. Since the Amazon is a highly competitive ecosystem as it's home to jaguars, crocodiles, and carnivorous fish like bull sharks and piranhas, these types of evolved adaptations that the Gill-Man has are essential for both hunting and evading predators. The Gill-Man has long, curved, and sharp claws, similar to those of predatory reptiles or birds. One can assume each finger and toe tip likely ends in a strong nail made of keratin, which he uses for gripping, climbing, and defending himself. Although his claws cannot retract, they're powerful enough to tear through nets, wood, and even metal in the films. These claws help him hunt and survive, making them well suited for a semi-aquatic predator. How are the Gill-Man's eyes adapted for underwater vision? The Gill-Man possesses large, bulbous eyes that are uniquely adapted for underwater environments. These eyes kind of bulged out, giving him a more frightening appearance. But the bulbous eyes have some advantages. The large and wide-set eyes provide a broader field of vision. Some believe that they possess tapetum lucidum, a reflective layer which enhances low-light visibility as seen in nocturnal and aquatic animals. This makes sense, given the dimly lit Amazon, where dense vegetation blocks sunlight and lightened waters are often clouded with sediment. The creature's eyes are also protected by a transparent, nictitating membrane that keeps out debris and helps it focus light underwater. These features make him a superb underwater hunter, even in dark or murky environments. Some also regard that the creature has binocular vision, which is common in predators. This type of vision helps it see depth, detect movement, and judge distances accurately, making it a dangerous hunter both in water and on land. Is Gill-Man intelligent? Does he have any special sensory organs? You might not think of a Gill-Man living alone in a swamp as being very smart, but that would be a mistake. This creature is actually quite intelligent. For example, the Gill-Man sets traps and builds dams in the river to catch boats. He's also shown his cleverness by escaping from an aquarium in Florida in the second movie. And yes, he has sensory organs like the lateral line organs found in fish. These organs help him detect vibrations and movements in the water, which improves his sense of alertness without visual contact. This makes him very sensitive in movement, allowing him to sense prey or intruders from a distance. Beyond vision, he has advanced smelling senses, which help him detect strong underwater scents or chemicals. He'll be able to track individuals via pheromones or blood trails, similar to how sharks do. Along with that, the Gill-Man may be sensitive to sounds in the air and water. There's some evidence that he can hear high-frequency sounds, like sonar or boat engines, but this is not confirmed. What's known about his strength and physical durability? The Gill-Man has brute strength, and he's so strong that he can break through wooden barriers. His armored body can also resist bullets and blunt attacks. This is why he's considered the strongest of the Universal monsters. You can see this when it takes several men to hold him back, and many tries to slow him down. Even though super strength is pretty common for sci-fi characters, when he lifts a full-grown guy and slams him into a tree to fight off 4 dudes trying to trap him with a net, it might not seem like a big deal compared to superheroes or today's CGI monsters. Imagine if you ever run into a creature like him out in the wild. You'll definitely be hoping you can at least run faster than him. He doesn't need to throw a building into space to seem strong. The strength he shows is enough to prove he is physically superior to the average men on the boats that enter his territory. He is, however, not immortal, because by the end of the movies, he's wounded or incapacitated through sheer firepower or fire. What kind of life cycle does Gill-Man follow? Given its amphibious characteristics, one of the most fascinating mysteries about this creature is how it reproduces. According to some theories, the animal might have a life cycle akin to that of amphibians like frogs or toads, starting out as a tadpole or larva in water, before developing into its adult form in a semi-terrestrial area. A life cycle like that would suggest that the organism goes through several metamorphic phases, each of which offers unique environmental adaptations. Alternatively, like some fish that give birth to live young, the creature may be fully developed at birth. Because of this reproductive strategy, young animals can survive on land and in water right away, which enables them to avoid early predators and compete for resources from the very start. Can the Gill-Man regenerate or heal rapidly? While the Gill-Man's healing or regenerative skill is not explicitly stated in the films, his repeated survival from injuries implies a strong natural healing factor. In 1955's Revenge of the Creature, the Gill-Man is recaptured and survives injuries that would be fatal to a human. His wounds heal between scenes, suggesting enhanced cellular regeneration. Some have mentioned that the creature might possess amphibian-like tissue repair, similar to salamanders that can regrow limbs. Some expanded media, such as comics, novels, go further, stating the Gill-Man can regenerate tissue, recover from gunshot wounds, and even revive after near-death situations. Did Gill-Man make cameo appearances in other media? The story of Gill-Man didn't wrap up with just the trilogy. He's shown up in a bunch of other stuff since then, like novels, comics, and video games, and even made some cameos in movies and TV shows. For instance, John Russell Fern, a writer of Pulp Fiction, wrote a book based on the screenplay for Creature from the Black Lagoon under the name Vargo Staten. In 1961, Ian Thorne published a kid-friendly version of the screenplay and its 2 sequels. Walter Harris wrote a different novelization of Creature from the Black Lagoon in 1977, presenting the Gill-Man as a hermaphroditic giant, almost as large as the Rita itself and weighing 30 tons. The Gill-Man appears in the film The Monster Squad, where he teams up with Count Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, the Mummy, and the Wolfman to get a magical amulet that will help them take over the world. In the 2017 film The Shape of Water, a mute woman forms a romantic relationship with an amphibious creature from South America, played by Doug Jones. Director Guillermo del Toro was inspired to create this film by memories of Julia Adams swimming in Creature from the Black Lagoon and wishing the creature would connect with the girl. In Stephen King's novel It, the shape-shifting clown, Pennywise, takes on the form of the Gill-Man to kill his victim, Eddie Corcoran. The Gill-Man was also featured in a theme park show called Creature from the Black Lagoon, the musical, at Universal Studios Hollywood in Los Angeles. This live performance began on July 1st, 2009, replacing Fear Factor Live. The show closed on March 9, 2010, and was replaced by the Special Effects Stage, which opened on June 26, 2010. In the 2008 Fallout 3 video game, the Mirelurk Kings look a lot like the Gill-Man. The 2011 video game Terraria includes an enemy called Creature from the Deep, which looks just like the Gill-Man. The Munsters, a popular sitcom that aired from 1964 to 1966. It included many famous horror movie characters, including Uncle Gilbert, who resembled the Gill-Man. His presence on the show shows how recognizable and impactful the character was during that time. Marvelous verdict. So there you have it, everyone. A complete breakdown of the biology and some extra cultural background of one of Universal's coolest and most enduring monsters. He's become a cultural icon and has even influenced other creepy aquatic creatures in horror and sci-fi, like the Xenomorph, the amphibian man from The Shape of Water, and Lovecraft's Deep Ones. The Gill-Man isn't just some monster. He's like a walking, swimming mystery, straight from the Stone Age. Part science, part nightmare. Whether he's some lost part of our evolution, a myth that comes to life, or just the ultimate survivor of nature, the Gill-Man shows us that we haven't even begun to uncover what's hiding down below. If you like this deep dive, pun intended, make sure to let us know what you liked about today's video in the comment section below. What creature do you want us to dive into next? Until next time, stay curious, and whatever you do, don't swim alone.